Autopsy report. I bet many of you did not know that the official autopsy report of Thomas Crooks has been released. An independent journalist made an official request to the coroner and they had to turn it over. We're going to go through it because it contains some shocking statements. There has been a lot of questions about the handling of the body. First, the FBI left the body on the roof all night long. It has been reported that the coroner arrived on the site at midnight. He left and then came back the next morning at 6 a.m., which was strange. The shooting took place the previous day at exactly 6:11 p.m. That means the body was removed after 12 hours on the roof. Why were they waiting? When the body was finally removed, it was taken to Allegheny County. That's also unusual. The shooting happened in Butler County. Why would they take it to a different county? Some people will argue that Allegheny County has better facilities, but there was nothing unusual required to complete this autopsy. That was completely unnecessary. Just so you understand how crazy this is, the local coroner's office was 10 minutes away. Instead, they drove the dead body 45 minutes away for no good reason. They left the body on the roof for 12 hours when the coroner's office was 10 minutes away. 3 days later, the FBI cleaned off any biological evidence from the scene by hosing down the roof. Then, the body was mysteriously cremated 10 days after the shooting. This is all very strange. When we look at the autopsy report, the first thing we see is who signed it. The autopsy was performed by Ariel Goldschmidt. This man is Jewish. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that I'm a big supporter of Israel. But I'm not naive. Israel has one of the most elite spy agencies in the world. Here's an article about this man from the Pittsburgh Jewish Chronicle. Pittsburgh Medical Examiner helps identify bodies of terror victims in Israel. Apparently, this man was in Israel responding to the attacks on October 7th. And then a year later, this world-traveling coroner happened to be in Pennsylvania and just happened to be the coroner when the body happened to be moved to a different county. Right. Shall I continue? The report says, the body is accompanied by a clear plastic bag containing medium-length brown hair submitted as evidence. What? So let me see if I understand this. The police had a dead body at the scene. They took some scissors and cut the hair off the dead body, then put it in a plastic bag. Then they took the dead body and the separate plastic bag of hair to the autopsy. Then they put the hair from the bag into evidence instead of using hair from the body. Is this strange? Anyone out there who knows about police procedures, is this normal? Why would you bring a separate bag of hair rather than cut off the hair during the autopsy? Then it says, the body is that of a well-developed, well-nourished white male weighing 167 pounds, measuring 68 inches, and appearing to be consistent with the age of 20 years. I find this statement unbelievable. There is no way that Thomas Crooks was 5 foot 8 inches and weighed 167 pounds. Here is video of Thomas Crooks walking. He is a skinny 20-year-old. Look at those skinny arms and skinny legs. There is no way he is 167 pounds. Just to put this in context, I don't even weigh 167 pounds. Thomas Crooks was younger than me, shorter than me, skinnier than me, and you're trying to tell me that he weighs more than me. How is that possible? The report goes on to describe the body. It says, the eyes are hazel. I went back to look at the photos I had seen of Thomas Crooks. It looks to me like his eyes are dark brown. What do you think? What about this one? What about this one? It does not look to me like his eyes are hazel. Then I remembered something. This is a photo of Thomas Crooks before the shooting. He was wearing a gray shirt with a bird on the back. This is the photo we have of the body. The dead body is clearly wearing a different shirt. There is nothing on the back of this gray shirt. The autopsy report says, the body is received clothed in a gray t-shirt, demolitia written on front of t-shirt, imagery including eagle symbol and bullet round and writing DR present on the back of t-shirt. Clearly, the autopsy is describing the shirt worn by Thomas Crooks, which says demolitia on the front. But that is not the shirt on the dead body, which has nothing on the back. Why is the coroner describing an article of clothing worn by someone else? Is this coroner lying during the autopsy? Now, I talked in my last video that the body on the roof could have been Maxwell Urich. Maxwell Urich was another suspect at the location on that day that has since disappeared and was never heard from again. I don't understand why no one is looking into what happened to Maxwell Urich. Maxwell Urich previously had gauges in his ear. Even if he had the gauges removed, they would have left large scars. If the body was Maxwell Urich, the coroner would have mentioned the scars in his ears during the autopsy. Instead, the report says the nose and ears are normally formed. It says nothing about signs of gauges in the ears. But let me show you the one photo we have from the autopsy. It shows a massive scar in the ear. Why didn't the autopsy mention this? We can all see the scar in the ear. Once again, was the coroner lying during the autopsy? I'm just going to put this out there. I do not believe the person they examined in that autopsy was Thomas Crooks. Just to recap, these are facts we know that contradict the lone gunman theory. Multiple cell phones, strange things happening in the video footage, the gun not fitting in the backpack, the body in the crime scene being in the wrong place, the bullet trajectory being not physically possible, and the autopsy report full of red flags. Whatever you think happened, I think I have shown that the ballistics evidence and the autopsy evidence does not prove the lone gunman theory. But I think these facts tell us something even more sinister than that. We're all just finding out about this now. Back in October, when all the government leaders issued their official report, they already knew all of this. They had the autopsy report, they had the cell phones, they had the maps, they had the video. They knew all of this, and they still wrote and issued a report about the lone gunman theory, something that contradicts all this evidence. This is so much worse than anyone realized. This was not some small rogue group of people. They were all in on it. They knew. These are people at the highest levels of the US government. The evidence shows that they lied in this report to the American people. This evidence shows these people were trying to win an election by killing their opponent. Many of these same people are still working in and around Donald Trump. I think he's in grave danger. If these people tried this before, I bet they're going to try it again. We know that Donald Trump has directed his team to investigate what happened that day.
It's been 7 months.
Well, and his deputy, Dan Bongino. I, like many of you, have been wondering why they have not been doing anything about this. They've been there almost 2 months. What are they doing? On April 6th, Dan Bongino posted this tweet saying, "As I dive back into work, I want to reassure you that nothing that is happening here is happening by accident. Because of the sensitivity of what the FBI deals with, both the director and I have to be circumspect in what we can make public. Bad guys read this stuff too. Neither one of us came here to play games." So he says they've been working on stuff, but we should not worry if we've not heard anything yet. Then this week, a story broke that the FBI was assigning internal agents to provide security detail for Dan Bongino.
NBC News has exclusive new reporting about a first for the FBI. The agency is creating a multi-agent bodyguard team to protect the Bureau's number 2, Dan Bongino. NBC's Ken Delanian has the reporting. Ken, this has never happened before, I think. Why now?
We do know that a notice went out inside the Bureau looking for field agents who would be willing to leave their jobs temporarily and work for 30 days at headquarters protecting Bongino. Now, current and former officials tell me this is going to be expensive because 24/7 protection will require as many as 20 agents who will have to be put up in temporary housing.
This report tells us 2 things. Number 1, they're working on things that are so big, it is putting their lives at risk. And 2, whatever it is that they are doing, it's going to be revealed within the next 30 days. People up and throwing them in jail. The American people demand answers for what happened that day in Butler, Pennsylvania.